All right, how's everybody doing today? Oh man, need to fix that. All right, got a fun one today. I was messing around with RSS feeds this week, and I know that's like something from like the 2000 era, but I wanted to kind of explore this. Today's live stream mostly going to be adding RSS to my website, christitus.com, but also kind of explaining for those that know RSS feeds how to actually use them, not necessarily properly, but actually expand RSS feeds so we don't need to leave RSS to absorb content. As the internet and the world is getting dominated by big tech algorithms, and you go to websites and all you see is just ads everywhere, YouTube itself, you can run into issues when trying to absorb content. Like, you'll get just distracted. Like, heck, just me making YouTube videos. I get on YouTube and I'm no different than you. I'll see a video and be like, oh, well, that's interesting. Let me click that. And then before I know it, I lost an hour of my time and productivity. And RSS is my solution to that. And RSS right now in this year is, I would say, in a pretty poor state. Like, most RSS feeds are just glorified link banks, basically. You're just full of links saying, hey, click here, and then it redirects you to their website or some place where they can, extract their pound of flesh and ads from it. But there's some in the open source community that have come to the rescue in this regard and have basically taken those links and expand on them into full text RSS. And we're going to get on my website. I'm going to show you just a quick, brief overview of how I've started to expand on the full text RSS to absorb parts of the internet. And then two, how to make it on christice.com, which right now I don't even think it has an RSS feed, which is something we're going to need to program. And I want it to be a full text RSS feed. So if I do an article, you don't have to go to my website. You can just show up in your feed and you'd be like, oh, cool, Titus wrote something. Oh, okay, I got it. Boom. And then that's it. So pretty cool idea all in all. I know RSS is something that's kind of old. A lot of people probably already know about it. It's just more about how we use it and how to expand on its functionality to really do stuff. So kind of interesting. Something I've been messing around with. What feed apps? There's so many out there. I am personally using Obsidian, which let's just jump into it today. How you doing, Don and Charles? Hope you guys are having a great Friday. All right, this is actually my Windows utility. Not what we're doing today. So this is kind of how I use my RSS feeds. I have Obsidian, my note-taking app, which is pretty good, and I keep expanding it. And this is kind of how I absorb parts of whatever it is. So let's just hit refresh on feeds. Oh, did I click it? Oh man, let's just restart Obsidian. It's been a while. I kind of left it up. So usually I'll just restart it. And is it gonna load? Oh, there we go. Cool. So whatever happens here, let's say like TechSpot, what do we have going on? Twitter meme. So you can actually read most of this, and what I've done most, like I think How to Geek. Let's see what this was. Yeah, that's going to be the full article. You can see some stuff gets built in because of how I do it. So by default, How to Geek's RSS feed is links only. So if we look at How to Geek, and where's their RSS feed? Sometimes they don't even add the feed anymore. Like, they've slowly just killed their RSS, which is kind of sad that happens. Is there yeah, here we go. RSS feed. So here's the full feed. And you can see it. Read this article on How to Geek. Read this article on How to Geek. All these things. So what I did was looked at morss.it, and it grabs that feed and then expands it. It says the read more and then clicks into it and then dumps all of that information into your feed so you can read the whole article. It's not perfect. mind you. It's still a little hacky because when you go to the How to Geek, let's say, when we're scrolling through streaming books, more weight, what do we, okay, here we go. And then here's this Amazon link and a Best Buy link. That actually might be a tag within the Kindle Paperwhite, but it's still pretty darn cool. It's able to get most of it, but towards the end you can see most of these are just links outside that might have, sometimes the ads get in there just a little bit. Not too bad though. Scrolling through these, it's not too shabby. I like it to where it grabs most of the Google ads for sure and gets rid of those. So this is a good way to, you know, for those that are really big on reading instead of video content consumption. I love this. I think it's amazing. So this is something I've been doing. It's a good way to just kind of flip through and see what all's happening. If you know, hey, KD Plasma has 5.25 release, cool, and I can just kind of get a good blurb without all the other stuff happening. And the same thing with the YouTube feed. So YouTube, a lot of times how people view YouTube, here, I'll just pull up my feed so you can see my YouTube. So they have all this stuff, and most of this I really just don't care about. So a lot of times people just click subscribers, and then just that way you only get your subscriptions, and you can kind of scroll through and see who you're following and what they've released lately, which is cool. I like this method, but even so, when I'm working, I really don't want to go to YouTube and then have another thing I use for my leisure time pop into my subscription feed and then me go, oh, well, that's super interesting. Like I think it actually happened to me this morning with Cold Fusion released something on the Terra collapse, which I was like, oh my gosh, all right, well, I usually prep for the stream, but I'm watching this video. So that's what I was doing right before the stream. Check it out. It was a good watch from Cold Fusion. If you haven't checked out the Terra video, amazing. I loved it. But anyways, I digress. Getting into how I absorb YouTube, you can actually go into this and let's say Linux experiment. You can see when the date of the release was, and if we wanted to watch his video right here, we could actually hit play. I'm actually not going to do that just in case it flags or whatnot, but a lot of things. Here's a Substack. I follow Lunduke over on Substack, so you know, remembering Gary Kildall on would have been his 80th birthday, which if you don't know who Gary Kildall is, you got to research him. He's basically, we wouldn't have the personal computer and a lot of things that we have today probably without his assistance in building the original operating system called CPM. Amazing guy. But anyways, this is kind of what I do to follow other tech creators in the YouTube space. If I'm working and I want to see kind of what they've been up to, I can just get a bullet point and all the titles from whoever it is on here. I need to expand this a little bit more. Here's Linus. And Linus, you can see the difference between Linus and most of the other ones. You can see the title difference, which is kind of crazy. But it's kind of cool to understand how titles work on YouTube, because obviously Linus would be how you create it for a really large channel, and then you see more of the direct titles like this, which is optimized for SEO instead of popular consumption, which both ways are viable on YouTube. It's just really interesting to see that difference. But also when you're absorbing it, I like to look at the titles and go, oh, okay. And then we also have Reddit that sometimes I pull in here and say, hey, what's new on the Linux Reddit? And sometimes there'll be something, hey, someone made XFC look exactly like Windows XP. Project XFC Win XPTC. That's cool. Oh, man. That is funny. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that is too great. This is the Debian system with this on, running Linux kernel 5.10. Oh, there's so much wrong, but beautiful with that. Anyways, that's kind of a fun way to absorb the internet. So that's just a broad overview of what we're doing today. And most websites, if you go to them, you can get that. So I also use a plugin over here. Let's see, manage extension. Let's open extension website. What is this? Get RSS feed URL extension. So any website I'm on, instead of searching for that RSS button, I usually use this extension to also get into there and do it. Sam, this video is in my RSS feeds and looked like Chris Titus. Question. That's because the questions are from the emoji that's used, the record symbol on this one. So sometimes it's not great. And Obsidian, the Obsidian RSS feed, I don't recommend it. It's a bit buggy and not all that great right now. I'm hoping to give a whole bunch of like light to it and get more people in, because with most open source projects, if when it comes to Obsidian plugins, are mostly all open source, if not all of them. And the more that people use that project and the more feedback that that creator gets, typically the better they become. It just depends on how well that creator's at managing GitHub projects, which I'm personally not very good at, but it's something that I'm working towards for sure. Oh, Dr. DOS. DR DOS, or Digital Resources DOS, was a DOS that was actually really good, made by Kildall, by the way, Al Bundy. I have a little tidbit here that I kind of wanted to share, because this is pretty darn funny. Oops, wrong chat. So a lot of people don't know this, but back when Microsoft was getting their wings, Bill Gates, often conflated with being extremely like a genius in the era, but no, he's just a ruthless thug businessman, is how I envision Bill Gates based on his track record. And what you see is Kildall made CPN that made the original computers work, and another programmer made something called Quick and Dirty DOS, or QDOS as it was called, and Bill Gates actually contracted that person and bought QDOS originally to fulfill the 1980s IBM contract. It's kind of wild, and I think he bought it for like $75,000, basically pennies to him, and fulfilled it. But QDOS was basically a blatant ripoff of CPM. So without Kildall, QDOS wouldn't exist, and Microsoft wouldn't exist either, because they wouldn't have been able to fulfill their contract to IBM. So Bill Gates bought this QDOS and then expanded it, and it morphed to like PC DOS and then MS DOS, and that it was the MS DOS we grew to know and love, or hate. And Gary Kildall actually saw this, and he's like, hey, you know what, I can do it better. I'm the original creator, and he did it better with DR DOS. But while I say Bill Gates is a ruthless businessman, is because Gates specifically went in and blocked any version that wasn't MS-DOS. So when you went to run a program, it would say, this isn't a genuine version of DOS if you were using DR DOS. So he effectively locked out Kildall from his original project or DOS thing. It's really super dirty, and there's so many evident history of this. I still don't know how people think Bill Gates is a good guy. I think he is just, man, you look at the pain and suffering he had caused throughout history in the business realm, and it just baffles my mind that people like that, man. Anyways, small Gates rant, since I saw just one person say DR DOS. You know, kind of a funny thing. Anywho, oh goodness, I'm not going to turn it into some kind of crazy rant about Gates, but at the same time, I thought, hey, let's give a little backstory about Kildall, since it would have been his 80th birthday. Sad story, Kildall. Too long, didn't watch that. Was because he made this influential project, he actually ended up becoming, I think, an alcoholic, and he drank himself to death, I think, in the 90s. It could have been. I could be off on that, on the facts on that, but that's basically what ended up happening to Kildall. But we wouldn't probably have a lot of the things in the computing realm we have today without his influence. I have not played No Man's Sky. I need to. Really need to. Obsidian, I don't think, is open source. I could be wrong with that, but I really just enjoy it because of how it's laid out. Well, let's see. Is Obsidian open source? Let's see. Let's just check. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not. Yeah, Obsidian's not open source, which, you know, I get it. As I've been developing, like, if you're dealing with Windows a lot, I get the reluctance to open source, because I've had, with my Windows project, WinUtil, this has been a challenge. So I've actually been working on some executable programs in expanding this out for just those that donate. And those executable programs, since they're made with a lot of the open source, just taking a PowerShell script, wrapping it up, and doing that, I get flagged from so many virus companies, every virus company, because what has happened is people have taken my script, modified and cloned it, and done all kinds of things with it, and that's mostly good, but there's a couple bad actors that have distributed viruses and things like that with some of these using invoke web requests, which I think is becoming more popular. So antiviruses are starting to go a little bit bonkers with it. And with the executable, I'm working on getting a signed executable for that, but that's hundreds of dollars that I have to pay out of pocket. And then on top of that, to do signed executables, there's a lot of paperwork that needs to happen. So I get why people just say it's not worth it to do open source in Windows. And if you're a business that cared about money, which most businesses are, I think you're hard pressed to do open source in a lot of methods for most Windows releases. And I get it, you know, but that's not me. I'm a YouTuber, so I don't really care. It's going to remain open source, and I'm going to keep going through it. And I'll keep finding hurdles around a lot of the antivirus flags. But that has been my struggle this week, is a lot of the antivirus flags I've been getting and cleaning them up, because the antivirus industry is just such a dirty, corrupt industry. That's another tangent I probably should make a video about. But anyways, getting back to RSS feeds. Let's see. Yeah, I think if you go like any RSS feed, but I think on christitus.com, I'm pretty sure Hugo by default usually has RSS, but I don't think mine does have RSS or a feed. Yeah. So let's create one for my main website that I do a lot of guides and things on. So if you wanted to subscribe through an RSS feed on my website, you'd be able to, which today apparently you cannot, with this new layout that I kind of took a theme and then just modified it to my needs. So let's do that. I'm gonna grab GitHub Desktop and sync that. Okay, we're up to date. Actually, you know, let's do VS Code today. I'm feeling VS Code. So I pulled up this guide on how to expand Hugo to include RSS on the website. It shouldn't be too bad. I'm going to add this RSS limit right here. So it's not just going to fill up someone's feed with hundreds of articles. It'll limit it to 20 articles, which should, you know, nobody really needs more than that in an RSS feed. And yeah, let's come into here. We're gonna go into our config toml file, and I don't think there's RSS. Yeah, there's only one right there. But I think we could just... Ooh, where's that going to go? Is that under params, output? Let's take a peek on that website. It's under our author or above author, copyright, and language. So let's look for language. Okay. We've got some options. That's just the menu. And copyright. I think I took all that out actually though. Oh, here we go. Copyright. Author. So I think this is under parameters is where it should go. Well, let's take a peek. So yeah, I think we're gonna put it there but I want to look up at the top just to make sure. Disable languages. I almost feel like it should be in the base default config, but I'm not gonna put it there. We'll put it under copyright for now. RSS limit. We'll add that in. Let's just do a Hugo server, or let's just do Hugo. Let's build it. Make sure it builds clean. Looks to be building clean. And if we do a Hugo server, let's expand this out a little bit. Yeah, everything looks good. So we added that in the config toml. Nothing too bad. Next, you need to add the following snippet in your head tag for the theme. So let's just grab that. Layouts, partials, head. And I don't think I can put that in here. Yeah. All right, this is gonna have to go directly in the themes under layouts, partials, head, and got some old Google Analytics, Google tags. Oh, Google. And I think doesn't matter where we put this, but I'm gonna just document this in case it does mess something up. RSS feed edition. We'll add that. I'm just seeing if there's anything I need to expand on, because I don't want to just add links. I want people to actually absorb it through the RSS feed. So I want to put the whole article in there. And I don't see anything here about that. So I think this should be fine. Find the snippet here. Reference RSS. If you only want the RSS link, which we don't. What's the difference between the two? I feel like I'm playing Where's Waldo. Where's the difference? Relative media permitting. That's just the media. Alright. I think we expand this. I think that's just the link, which makes it a bad RSS feed, in my opinion. We want full text. Hey, John. Off topic. Help desk job asked to create a honeypot link that Fisher's asking for an expense report. Unsure how to do this. Not sure on that, John. Usually what I do, if you're asking about like phishing emails and things and how to properly do that, First thing I usually do when setting up email for a business would be to, one, designate external emails as such. Just adding a line, I know it looks stupid in the emails, but just have your users get over it, with a big old red text saying external email. You'd be shocked how many people see that, oh, this is external, and then, someone trying to impersonate, like, the owner of the company just can't get away with it. Because some people are, like, when you watch or read email on your phone, which most of us do, a lot of those sometimes can get past us. But when you have those big red text saying external email, that's one way to really cut down on phishing. Another way, obviously, is I usually target, probably one of the biggest things with phishing emails too is targeting faxes, voicemails, anything like that. If the word fax, voicemail, and a lot of those things, you can set up custom scripts to basically take care of that as well. I don't think that really answers so much the question. As far as honeypot link, I'm not sure what you're trying to achieve with that, but unless you're saying there's a honeypot link in the actual phishing email, which would make more sense. All right, here we go. So customization. You can find the internal RSS template in GitHub. If you want to customize your feed, which we do. The default template includes only a summary of each blog post. Okay. So let's pull up RSS. Okay. This is the RSS default template. So let's grab the raw file here. And I think that's going into layouts_default RSS. And do we have anything in layouts_default RSS? We do not. All right. Let's just make sure that's it. Default RSS. So yeah, there's nothing, no RSS.xml on this site. Let's fix that. So layouts. I open this in a terminal. Yeah. So we'll just wget RSS. We'll pull that directly in. And then we can change the Hugo version of their RSS. We could trash that terminal now that we did that. Some key bindings, whatever. And we switch summary to content, because we don't want to just give a summary. We want an actual functional RSS summary to content. Easy. If you click the small RSS icon in the nav bar on my website, you'll see a list of RSS feeds. The page is generated from RSS HTML. Oh, let's see this guy. Okay. That's basically what I want, just to expand it on it a little bit more than him. He's using a short RSS feed. So now we need the HTML. I think I can just use his version of that, which I don't think his is quite the same. Content RSS Markdown. Okay. So now we need RSS.html, which we'll do that, build that directly out in default. And then we'll call this RSS.html. Paste that right here. So we got the XML, we have the HTML, and now we do just a content RSS.markdown. Even simpler. So content, new file, RSS.md. Markdown files are what each used for the website. So that should be the conclusion. Unless the layout setting does not transpire. But we'll see. Alright, let's see. Hugo. Looks like it built properly. Server. Okay, that also looks good. Let's verify that. Here's our current online. Here's our current local host. And if we do RSS. Okay. Categories. Android. Oh, okay. So if you only want to subscribe for like Windows content, you could actually come in here and just do this RSS feed. That's cool. Let's see how this plays out on here. Let's go ahead and push this to our live site. Let's go RSS edition. And now we wait. We'll push the origin. That'll push out all our objects, and we should have RSS on christitus.com after this. So it should look like this. This is our local host. You sound very strange in 1x, 2x Titus for the win. That's great. I remember the one time where I messed up the range I was recording in, and I went live, and my microphone was coming into 44 kilohertz, I think it was, but I was speeding it up to a 48 kilohertz in OBS, and I sounded like a chipmunk when I went live. People were rolling. That was the best live stream ever. Oh, let's see here. RSS standard is pretty vague, but description tags should technically be plain text. If you want HTML, it should technically go in content encoded. All right, sweet. Hey, what's up, Tech? Tech Hut in the house. Yeah, so let's see how we're doing on this. We'll go christitus.com, and then we'll do RSS. Probably should add the RSS logo somewhere. It's still not built. 1 second. I'm gonna have to log into my website, make sure it built that recent one. It's still processing the RSS edition. It's almost done though. I think I was just a little too impatient with it. Okay, post-processing's done. Netlify build complete. Okay. Sweet. Coming back. So if we do a refresh. Alright, so RSS is now live on christitus.com. And if we come into our feed here, let's add our feed, RSS reader. Let's add this. We'll call this christitus.com URL, and we'll throw it in tech news. Why not? This feed does not have any entries. So let's say I wanted to just pull in my Windows feed. Does this work? Windows. Enter. Okay, that seemed to work. Let's see, tech news. Where are you at? Did that just disappear on me? Oh, there he goes. Just took a little bit. Feed's refreshed. So now when we look at our feed, there's all of my Windows stuff. So if I wanted to read the Ultimate Windows utility, bam, copy that. If I wanted to run Windows, oh, so cool. Man, that's a clean RSS feed. I love it. So you can absorb the entire article right here. Man, that's clean. And my YouTube link. Oh gosh, I'm so terrible. I forgot. It's awful. Oops, my bad. Hey, you guys can see my like to dislike ratios. Get shareable link. Need that. Let's fix this website now that I'm looking at it. There's one page here, so we're gonna actually do another post. Post 2022, and we'll fix our Windows tool. Apparently, somewhere along the lines, I did not put the YouTube video on there. Paste that, and paste that. Delete that. Save. All right. Now, if we look at our local host, I forgot to fix that. I never went back after I made this page and put the YouTube video on it. There I am. All right, cool. And then let's do one more push. We're fixing bad YouTube link. YouTube link. We'll push that out. And now we've done RSS. I love this RSS, how it's done right here because of how clean it looks in Obsidian. So all of the whole web page comes in, not just some BS thing. And then I don't embed YouTube videos, so let's see what Click does. Okay. It's cool. It's cool. It's exactly how I want that to appear. Windows 10 scripts. Oh, this is actually old. I need to remove that page probably. I think I took out some of those scripts. Very, very cool. Nice. So any RSS people now can go to my website and pull in all that. It does not look like that RSS limit worked though. This is like literally every Windows. Yeah, this is from 2011. Oh my gosh. This is back when I was just using the website for note-taking app, basically. Oh, jeez. Yeah, this brings back some memories. Flipping through some of this. Oh, this is when I did like a home theater PC using software RAID in Windows. Oh, it was so awful. It was awful fixing that software RAID in Windows. Don't use software RAID in Windows unless you just like pain. Lots and lots of pain. Sam, domain RSS in your RSS category page. Domain index XML is your all feed. Oh, okay. So, thank you, Sam. Index.xml. Oh, okay. So this is the main feed, and then I need to do, oh, I should probably write an article about this. That is awesome. So this grabs everything. Hot dog, man. Look how much this is compressed. This is the entire page. Wow. That's cool. That is cool. Love it when a plan comes together. Man, we are only 30 minutes into this stream, and we've already showed RSS, how to do it, what full text RSS looks like, and then actually coded and implemented a full RSS solution for my website, christitus.com. Today is going to be a good day. That was literally pretty much everything I have. Hey, heat stroke, how you guys doing, man? I'm having a heat stroke over here in Texas. It's pretty hot. How is it over in India? I bet pretty much just as hot. I know RSS is a little more niche, so I get that it's not more of a crowd pleaser of a utility. But I think a lot of people have also been burned on RSS and like poor feeds. Hopefully this kind of shows people how to improve the RSS feed is kind of my goal behind it. What's your opinion on immutable OSs like Fedora Silverblue? I'm a dummy. I like immutable OSs, especially for beginners, because immutable OSs are almost impossible to break, which is great. I mean, nothing's impossible to break. I always find a way. But immutable file systems are great for that, rock solid OS, because immutable means none of the system files will change, none of the system packages will change. Everything gets pushed out like a singular update. And I think that's the best way to approach it for the mainstream. Now, me personally, I hate immutable S's for my machines, but I also like to tinker, and I do a lot of weird things that I know 99.99% of the population don't need or use. So I am more of the exception than the rule on immutable file systems. But for the masses, I totally think immutable file systems and OSs are the way to go. Did your OS ever break from last week on Nobara? I'm glad you asked. No, it did not, actually. I'm still rocking it, man. Let's see. NeoFetch. It still shows Fedora. Let's do a update. Now that you say that. Yes. What do we got? Yeah, but you can see Brave, Git, Nubara, Mesa, Nubara Game Utils, regular Nubara login. I don't know what that is. Oh, Netobark? I'm not sure. Anyways, yeah, it's still chugging along here. Let's just do another update. You know, I like to do updates on my system during the stream because I'm a crazy person. RSS tools. RSS Bridge. Hugin. Kill the newsletter. Really? Sam, are those mostly terminal? What's your favorite terminal RSS reader? Oh, Newsboat is another one. Zeth. I think I saw Brody did a video on Newsboat, I want to say. Yeah, Alexander. A lot of people always discounted it. It wasn't until this week I needed a video, and a lot of my video ideas I just didn't enjoy. And I think I saw a tweet from Jason Evangelo, and he was like, I'm getting really into it because I think he works for Thunderbird now. And stack smashing detected, terminated. Oh my gosh, that sounds bad up at the top. What is this? Huh. It's kind of funny. Okay. Anyways. But I saw a tweet from him, Jason. I was like, oh, that's interesting. RSS and Thunderbird. One, I hate Thunderbird, so no shade at him. It's not my jam. And I was like, I really wanted to get into RSS a little bit more, and then I was like, ooh, RSS plugin for Obsidian. I'm still loving Obsidian, by the way, if you can't tell. I was like, let's try it out. Now the RSS plugin for Obsidian again sucks, pretty bad, but neat. I wanted to see that. Now, Newsboat. Yes, Newsboat's here. Let's try Newsboat. Yeah, I love the variety aspect of that. Trying new things is kind of the beauty of... It's why I love what I do. Because I get to go and do things that, don't make sense. If I had to make videos about like Microsoft Office and Windows Server every week, I probably would just shoot myself. That is not my idea of a good time. Although I bet it would be immensely popular on YouTube because it would probably appeal to a much larger audience. But again, not my jam. All right, so Newsboat. I wonder, can we just do like christitus.com/index.xml? Okay. Newsboat. Read URL. I should probably look at how to do this, but we're just gonna wing it. No such file. Maybe it needs a full. Where did I put that? Where are you at, terminal? Oh, there you are. Maybe it needs the full HTTPS. No. Index.xml, right? Yeah, index.xml. That's it. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to read the manual. RTFM this. Newsboat. Newsboat with macros is a preferred way to subscribe to YouTube channels. It works with Odyssey. Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, I need to update that, Zeth, the Ultimate Linux Guide, gaming guide. It's been a minute since I did that. So, why doesn't this work? Do we have examples in here? Okay, so there's a lot of hotkeys to this. Configuration. URL feeds. Oh, you know what? What if we do it? It looks like it might just read my raw RSS feed. No? Nope. Huh. Alright, I guess, I don't know. I don't know how to use Newsboat. Newsboat examples. Why doesn't that work? Where's some examples? Alright, first steps. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, you can either add the URLs directly in .newsboat URLs, or you can import the OPML file by running newsboat.iopml. Oh, wow. It's a bit janky. Why don't they do that through the CLI? Right? I'm sure there's a CLI command that I just didn't that I missed. All right, let's check. That's pretty cool. But let's go Chris Titus RSS. RSS feed. pull that in. For .config, and then newsboat, or was it .newsboat? .newsboat URLs. So there is no directory. Configuration of this is a little janky. Okay, it does. Is it just URLs in the file? Strange. Okay, feed contains no. Wow. Is that a? Okay. Let's just remove this. Okay, well that definitely has feeds, right? Reload. Okay. Ah, much better. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I don't necessarily like it as a reader because I kind of like images on my RSS feed, but you know, it's not awful. Okay. Weird configuration. I'll leave it. I'll leave it there. We'll see how that goes. Opens a file. Oh, opens a file with URLs. I got you, Sam. That's what I was missing. Yeah, it's a little bit. I don't like Newsboat for a reader. You know, it's just my personal taste. I much prefer more of the GUI option where I'm just clicking and I'm getting more of everything happening with the feed. Let's see CNET. How's this look? Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, I guess. Is CNET even a tech article anymore? Or is it just glorified ads? Even the articles are ads. That's pretty much it. Like, okay, let's see if there's anything in here that's actually tech. PS5's first official bundle includes her. How old is this? Little bit behind the times there, CNET. That game came out like a month ago. Did they just now pay you a bunch of money to make a dedicated article that says nothing? What is this? It's been a while. I just pulled in a couple tech things for a video. Multiverses preview. Engaging, complex, surprisingly delightful. Well, at least there's more than a couple paragraphs in this article. So CNET, pretty much terrible. How's The Verge? Hulu is offering 3 free months for $3. Please click our link and get the affiliate. Obi-Wan coming to Fortnite next week. Okay. Is The Verge a tech article place still? Kind of a rhetorical question. Oh, man. I'm sorry, but dude, some of the tech journalism. Well, that's why I'm always on Phoronix, because Phoronix is actually good. Oh, thank you, my love. All right, y'all. Well, I think this is a good intro to RSS. We'll probably cut it short this week because everything just worked right out of the gate. RSS, there's really not much to say other than it can be completely awesome, and it strips away a lot of the veneer and the fluff of so many websites to where you get to the actual meat and potatoes. And good websites like Phoronix, you can see that you can actually read about pretty much everything. Oh, let's see. Yeah, here we go. I think some of that other one was my earlier ones. But then other websites like, what about Gizmodo? Is that any good? Claim Apple's next trick, letting you borrow cables from Android friends. It's not a trick. They got sued in Europe because of this, and they forced Apple to use USB-C. It's not like they did it at the kindness of their heart. It might not seem like the needle-moving announcement that Apple would make, but thanks to news of trusted analysts, there's hope on the horizon that someday Apple iPhones will stop being separated. This week on Gadgets, so they didn't even use their own. Is it just like a giant circle jerk with tech journalists? I don't get it. We dive into most Apple leaks with WWDC. I don't even know what that is. I guess it's a worldwide Apple event of some sort. I don't really care. Oh, the rumor mill's addition of a USB-C tidbit for the Apple Series C and the iOS 16. Do they not make mention that Europe sued them and forced them to switch over to USB-C? No. No, they do not. Okay, tech journalism is like, wow, get off TikTok. Whoever's writing this, Sam Rutherford. do the bare minimum, like 5 minutes of research. You could have written like twice as much and a better article. He probably got paid like $10 for this article though. So, I mean, I guess that's what you get. Ugh. What a terrible article that was. I haven't been reading some of the tech news here. All right, well, I guess this could just... I'm going to get off. Otherwise, I'm going to just sit here and rip apart all these tech journalists and be like, oh, gosh, this is terrible. Oh, well. Nosebook URL. Yeah, I'm going to keep messing around. I'm curious. My video tomorrow is going to be over RSS feeds, obviously a little bit more concise than this live stream. And I want to see exactly how and what other readers people come up with. As I know, most people aren't using the reader I'm using here. Most people probably, I think Feedly's a popular one. There's a bunch of readers, but I looked at those readers, but a lot of them end up costing money, like $6 a month and stuff in some cases. And I was like, that's weird. And I think Google has its own reader. So I'm really curious about the comments tomorrow on tomorrow's video. Now, I didn't title it RSS because most people are just afraid of RSS and what that means. So I titled it Elevating Yourself from a Normie to an Elite Internet User. Because that's what I consider those that use RSS, elite internet users. As, you know, the world is your oyster and you're able to absorb so much more in such a small, you know, period of time. Which is great. Hey, GFY, how you doing, man? Yeah, I think most of the articles, like you can tell, most of the big publications like Gizmodo, CNET, The Verge, when you actually are just reading the articles themselves, it's very, very surface level a lot of times. And most times not even surface level. Most of it's just really poorly researched, or the article itself is an ad. And that's just kind of where we're at in tech journalism. Although, like, there's some standouts, though. Like, I put all these in here just so you could see them. But, like, Phoronix, you actually do get viable information that's used on a daily basis that you could read Pharonix every day and be better informed than the prior day. Where if you read like The Verge and CNET, I think you just turn into a zombie and be drooling on yourself. Maybe Gizmodo too. I think back in the day these used to be better. I hope they were better. I remember reading them sometime in the past and not thinking they were awful. But I mean, from today, just browsing through Verge, CNET, and Gizmodo, I felt dumber for reading it. Which, that's not how reading should work for you. So some tech journalism really is something to be desired. We'll see. Ugh. Yeah, I think it did. They probably got sold off, and now they're part of some big conglomerate somewhere. I bet you. Yeah, GFY. Yeah, this whole thing was that, and we also build out the RSS feed for ChrisTitus.com. I'm probably finish up today with just making icons and some quick links for RSS folks out there, and then yeah, go from there. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna cut it here. Thanks so much for joining today. It's a short stream, but hey, there's not much more to say on the topic, so why drone on and hear me babble? So with that, I'll see you guys next week. We'll see what else I come up with. It's always different. And sometimes on the streams I like to pick something a little bit more complex, a little bit more of a deep dive that I wouldn't normally cover on the channel, that would maybe appeal to more of a niche audience like today. But yeah, we'll see. With that, guys, have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.